We are back with Eric from Davis Tools. And while he's been here at the shop, we've been talking about how you could customize this whole TANGO 360 and the grip system to fabricate anything that is in your shop. Sanding tools, sanding sponges. If you have a copy of my book, Chapter 11 discusses sanding blocks. Well, he's going to show us right now how, like what we normally do, or just we were talking about that. You take your sanding block, you're holding the sandpaper, and you're hitting that profile. And I said, same thing, your fingertips are on here, you're starting to eat up, depending what grit you have on it. You're gonna just, you're gonna damage your fingers, your tips, and then the same thing, your fingers are holding onto it. You may, develop over time, carpal tunnel, what's it called, the,
hand and arm vibrations.
Any of those,
any number
I'm blanking
of
on
things.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Arthritis, that's what I was thinking of. So it's like, what he's gonna do now, he's gonna kind of show us how to take, this is my sanding block here from the shop, and turn it into a tool that could be used on the battery powered tool or the hand tool. So jump at it, Eric.
Okay, so here we have adhesive hook. I like to use carpet adhesive hook. This is the strongest that I could come up with, and that's the profile. That's what he's using. That's what we're trying to get around here. So basically, all I'm going to do is just add that little bit right here. I'll even let it overhang a little bit because I might use the outside profile, which is there. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this off, and it's super adhesive. So what I usually like to do is pinch it first, and I'll get it right up to the edge, just like that. And as soon as I'm centered in the middle, you can see it comes out right there. Hard to get the fingers off. I'll go ahead and give it a good wipe just like that, and now I'll just lay it over like that and like that. Yep. And I've got this nice adhesive hook right here. So here is the adhesive loop-backed sandpaper, and in something like this, oftentimes I'll use mesh looped-back sandpaper because it flexes a little bit more, but this is 180 grit. It's very good at flexing, but this loop-backed mesh paper is perfect for this application because one of the other things that it does is it allows the sanding dust to escape, whereas oftentimes you might see it sticking into that, and you can pull it off quickly. So here we have just we've just done the hand sand. So this is what you'd be doing anyways, right? Yep. But I've got your fingers off of this. Yeah. So now we're just going to do that. So this is probably something you could easily do at any time. Yep. But now we're just going to customize a little bit more. This is some loop. This is a piece of adhesive loop that comes off of the back. So we're going to take the adhesive loop here, the backing off of that, and I'm just going to apply it right over to this right there, okay? And there you have it. So now not only am I off of this part, but I'm also going to displace it, and I'm going to get a better grip because this is an okay grip.
Over time, though, it's going to just abuse your hands if you're doing it for just say a couple dozen of these in a home.
And it's also about access. Maybe you can't. Maybe your hand's too big between the rail, and you can't get this, so you need to hold it like that.
Modern building code here, it's like I think it's 4 inches or so nobody can stick their head through. Doing that with there's 2 inches there, and then your hand, it might be a little tight in between, the banister rails.
Exactly.
So that's where this beauty comes in right here.
And as you can see, I can put another bit all the way around here, and all I have to do is even with 2 of these, I can come all the way around and just take some old adhesive sandpaper right here, just like this, and just now I'm totally holding on to this thing, right? And you see this?
The other way. Yep.
I'm just going to do this. The Grip 360 now displaces everything, and I'm right there just like that. So that's one way that you can do it. There's so many other options. And here we are I'm just doing it like this, and you can see that even now this is going to give me a little bit of flex, right? It always depends on how much grit you
were saying, if you put the little bit of felt, the loop on the backside.
Exactly.
Just that one added step would definitely give it a little bit more strength.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. This is where you would just knock it out like that. So
now you're walking on all sides.
I didn't want to totally put everything on your sander here, but I do want to show that even with this system right there, where I'm just taking this. That's how good the adhesive loop is. I mean, it's going to hold on to this. So that is taking the block and doing it. And now let's just say that, well, we want to do a little bit of everything. Here we have this Here's your nice pad.
And that's from the shop. That's from here. We use this here in the shop every day.
You can take some scissors, cut it down to the size you want. In this case, I'm just going to keep it the same way it is. This is way more than I need for this operation. You can cut it to the size that you want, of course, but we're going to use this one over and over again anyways.
Getting that plastic off the back. That's always the worst.
Yeah, it's a little bit there, but there it is. Got it.
Yep.
Bam. And you can see
static electricity there.
You can see that even with this for that little bit, here we have that adhesive hook is so aggressive, it's going to stick to this right here. And now we've got this, and now you've got that, right? And
you can swap that to the power, I believe, too, right?
Yeah. So now we're going to take this off.
Now hold on to this.
Okay. And here it is. I'm going to leave it in free rotation, and I'll just do, some of these things. It's not, we're getting in there, right? That's actually doing a good job, by the way.
I think this is like 150 grit sponge, which, like I said, it's getting into all these little lines right here, which are, I'm just even looking at it too. You could even swap it to the 50 millimeter, and get a little bit wider footprint on this beauty.
Exactly. If I want a little bit more pressure on that, that's how tough it is to get it off. And I would. In the cases of doing the blade side, so you're not, potentially damaging something like that, I keep it away from it like that. I mean, that's just the little things that I know of. And then we also have the rasp sander combo, right? And so now I have a larger platform to work with.
You get a little bit more stability and a little bit more pressure too.
And let's not forget, I want to make sure that we talk about this. See this nice little arrow right here? This is my safety valve, if you will. The arrow goes to the notch. You pull it back and you put it into fixed or free rotation, right? But you need to twist it, because if you come up to this edge and you hit it like that and it is in this position, you're going to damage that first of all, and it's going to release the.
It happened to me when we were testing.
So we want to. I wanted to make everybody clear that there is a something that you have to consider in that. Okay, so that is one portion of it. Now let's just expand upon this a little bit further. I know that not everybody has a 3D printer, but you know what? There's a lot of 3D printing websites. So this is our 5 millimeter threaded adapter, and on the inside is a threaded wood insert. You could probably drill a hole through this or drill a hole through that. Or with this one, that's pretty tough. You could probably thread the inside of that with this one.
Hardened plastic.
That's hard. That's ABS plastic.
Yeah.
So you could just screw this into it or use a threaded insert. Or
I would put the insert just because if you're going to take it in and out multiple times. The plastic may not hold up long term.
Not long, but not with these threads, that's for sure. So here you have it. In this particular case, I have a round profile sander, and I'm using the threaded insert right here inside that, and I've put it one on top of the other. And that's as simple as that. I can choose to create any profile I want.
Multiple shapes on it too. You have point, round, cove,
convex, concave, and it's just trying to get all these places with the same one. But maybe you don't have a 3D printer, but you have access to 20 of these, because, most of the furniture restores I know have half a dozen of those as well.
100, and I think we do right over here. I said a lot of it is like, this almost makes me want to get into doing, staircase refinishing again, because it'll make it a lot easier. Right? We stopped doing it maybe a decade ago because, one, I like working on mid-century modern furniture. It's more iconic, and it's more fun to stay in the shop. But I go, using this tool, if we were just to do that, you can knock out staircases in a matter of maybe days, not weeks. It's really, and with less chemicals.
I think the going rate for a staircase refurnisher store is probably $60 an hour, maybe up to $100 depending on where you're at in your communities. At $60 an hour for a whole staircase of these, I don't know, $8,000-$10,000 of hand sanding work time for that, depending on where you're at. We talk about costs and everything, like lasers and chemicals and all this. you can bring a staircase railing here, and he can take care of it with all of that.
Yeah.
But try and do that in your house, you know, or do it for yourself.
Yeah.
This is that pet project that you wanted to do. Well, you buy his book, you learn a few things about sanding stuff, and then, of course, you get into the Tango 360, and now we just simplify everything with the strap sanders, the profile sanders, just even scraper sanders, being able to attack just about any portion of these rails. And this is only, of course, an example of what you could do. Because we all know you have teak chairs out back.
Yeah. The imagination of whatever you can think of, like I did while we were working on it yesterday. Let's make our own here in the shop. How can we show the people to make a custom sanding block? It really is. You may not have every attachment on your website yet.
Yeah.
But eventually, you don't need to. Like, why would you sell the sanding sponge? Let's just sell the hook and loop. You can take anything. These are all trash. Like, if you think about it, these are going to get used up. They're going to wear down from 150 to 220 to 320 to 400, and then at some point you're going to throw it away when it's as soft as paper. Yeah. So it's like why do that? Like, just you could sell this and you could put it on anything or everything.
He makes a really good point. I'm gonna add a little bit of this point here. Double-sided stick tape would stick to this, no problem, even with the dust on it, okay? And so I just take my own, let's just call it, you want this 220 grit sanding sponge to turn into 400 grit, pretty simple. You put some tape across that, double-sided tape, and then you just take small strips of 400 of your own sanding paper, your own stuff, and the block is still, the foam is still good. And if you have these small strips of 800, 400, 1,000, whatever you're doing, and it's strapped across that, well, guess what? You just you've saved the planet another sponge, and you've created another profile or another sanding sponge for your future. And guess what? Of course, you can just keep taking it off and putting new stuff back on. Until it's
the starting. And then at that point, you're just until the foam deteriorates. Then at that point it goes in the trash. But it would extend it once it gets down to just say a 600 grit when it's like paper smooth. Then at that point, set it aside. Now you use it as a universal. You could throw any paper on, line it full of the hook or the loop, one of the two, and make it your own.
Exactly. And I want to come on in and bring this in a little bit closer, Ivan. I want to show a little bit about some of the problems with speed and agility. Do you see these hooks? You see how they've melted over? This one is in dire need of changing this, but not really, because even though this edge has been heated up quite a bit and it's melted those hooks, the hooks around the backside aren't. So all the backside is actually holding this in place.
The profile is still there.
And the profile is still there. So it's really a question of how much is left on that. And of course you can take this off and then you put on some brand new one. You can clean it off with some Glue Be Gone or whatever products you use to
like what we use here from Mohawk. We use a wax wash remover, which is what does that. It takes off the grease or wax or tape residue. So that's what we use here from the Mohawk or RPM Technologies or Finisher's Edge. There's different branding names on it depending where you are across the country. So so it's
there's a whole variety of ways. And don't let us limit you, and don't let the Tango 360 or Grip 360. It's not here to limit you. It's your creativity, and the time when you are under a car and you need to sand around that one spot, or you need to scrape into that one area that is just impossible to get to. This is the tool that really bridges the gap between the ones that you have and and hand sanding or trying to figure out something else. So there's a kind of an unlimited potential here.
Yeah. Well, like we were talking earlier, like the guy from Blacktail Studios, that was a Cam Anderson.
Yeah.
You saw something on one of his videos that this tool would have corrected. He manufactured some little thing with the oscillating tool, but this basically would come with it right away. It would have been like a one-stop shop, real quick and easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cam was working on a cross section, and he took the oscillating multi-tool and he basically put some adhesive hook, and then he put some sandpaper, and he was able to get the oscillations from the tool, but it wasn't really that long. You know, he couldn't get the top of it in there. But this is the difference between oscillations and rotations, and or reciprocations, is that this can be as long as I want, and I'll turn it down to one
Using
here.
the longer attachment that comes in the kit.
In the kit,
Yep.
the rasp sander combo.
Yeah.
You could have easily put this in there, and we always see glue and everything that is a problem.
In those corners,
and
for sure.
that was what he was solving. He glued it up after he
remember that in the video.
Exactly.
Yep.
So he just needed to get that action across it, and he could have done it with any one of these here. And of course this, and why don't I take you right here to this glue job right here. I'm going to show you this right here on the floor, right about right here. You see this glue right here on the floor? This is a glue up job that has, at some point it needed to, and there's the glue on the ground, and here I am in free rotation, okay? But just going to knock that glue out. You see how that's just in speed 1. So there you have it. And of course, if I needed to go up, high speed to really get into something, of course I could, and if I wanted to use it in a fixed position for that purpose, I could as well. I'm just knocking it away, right?
Yep.
And then here, I could drop it down, we'll go back out, and, in the cases where you have something that you need to scrape and then sand, that's what optimizing a tool is all about. And the Tango 360 and the Grip 360, they definitely give us options that we didn't really have before with oscillating multi-tools or with even reciprocal tools. The saw blades on jigsaws, I've seen it a dozen times. People get intelligent and they put the adhesive hook on a blade for the Sawzall, and they go on the inside of those rails, and before long they've cut something, they broke the blade, they flicked it over here. It's not a good idea.
Or snap the blade. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to hop in and start working on a few projects here in the shop and showing you what we could do now, not just on these little samples. We're going to work on it on some high-end furniture, stuff that we see here at Moore's Refinishing. So if you like that, make sure to just go to the playlist down below. You're going to see everything from the Tango 360 that we've been working on in the shop from when we first opened the package to where we are right now. So we will see you guys in the next video.
Thank you very much, Aaron. That's a great job.
Perfect. We'll see it.
Excellent.